2 days to go until the end of the international break, and two of the four championship clubs in need of new managers appear to have their men. Yesterday, it was Philippe Clement going in to Norwich, and we seem to be very, very close to Kim Hellberg going in to Middlesbrough. I think we're just waiting on a work permit now, and everything is all sorted. Sky, Keith Downey, Lyle Thomas, all going together on this. Middlesbrough, they're all Sky operatives there. Middlesbrough will appoint Kim Hellberg as their next head coach, pending a work permit, which I understand isn't going to be an issue given where he's been managing over in Sweden. Terms agreed with the Swede. Boro are triggering a $250,000 Hammarby release clause. Hammarby assistant David Salini will join Hellberg at the Riverside. And interim, show more, something about Adi Vivash, I'm sure. Yeah, interim boss Adi Vivash is going to be important part of the technical staff. Vivash will remain in charge against Oxford this weekend, which is exactly what we discussed with Sam Parkin on the prediction show as to how Boro would approach the short term, given this is a pretty rubbish time to be bringing a new manager in. We've spoken about it at length on the channel. 11 rounds now in 45 days. If you want to implement a new style and you're a new manager going in, you haven't got a lot of time on the training ground, let's just say, over this next sort of 6-8 weeks going up to FA Cup third round and beyond. Get your views down there in the comments on Kim Hellberg, who looks like he's going to be the next Middlesbrough boss. Make sure you've hit the thumbs up button and subscribe while you're there. And I suppose Boro are unique in the four teams searching for a manager. A, because of their position in the table, and B, because of how the previous manager left. Obviously, Boro are second, and as is normally the case when you're looking for a new manager, it's because somebody has failed and you're down at the bottom of the table, which is the case for Norwich and Southampton and Swansea, who are actually a key part of this story. Boro up there in second. Does that make it an easier sell? I'm sure it does. But to be fair to Steve Gibson and what's the guy, Scott, the sporting director there at Boro, they've obviously had to move very, very quickly to do this and figure this out. And fair play, because I'm sure Norwich, who've just brought Philippe Clement in, knew a fair wee while ago that they might be in the market for a new manager at this point. Let's talk about Swansea, because this is important. This is a video about Middlesbrough and about Kim Hellberg. But this does seem to be a little bit of a... I'm not sure anyone's done anything wrong, but certainly Swansea really wanted Hellberg, didn't they? And maybe Swansea went on Alan Sheehan, knowing about a release clause and knowing that there was the potential. But Boro, and you can talk about anybody doing anything wrong. I think certainly they are very much victims in this scenario, Boro, in terms of needing a manager right now. They did not want to be replacing Rob Edwards, but we've discussed that, and what happened. And look, Hellberg's name was linked to all of the clubs available. I know a lot of it is nonsense when you just get bookies, odds, and people backing people in. But it was very, very real that he was interviewed by Swansea. Swansea wanted him. I think Swansea had done all the due diligence with Hammarby. So, if Norwich and Southampton were a thing as well, I think less so Southampton. But maybe it was just a toss-up for Hellberg. Do you want to come to English football and manage Middlesbrough? Or do you want to come to English football, Welsh football, and manage Swansea? And, I don't want to be digging out clubs or making any Swansea fans upset. But right here, right now, and football management is about moments and taking your chances, you take the Middlesbrough job. Let's not be under any illusions. We are not 16 games or 15 games from the end of the season. We are 15 games from the start of the season. So this is not about a manager coming in and, quote, getting Boro over the line here. There is a lot of football to be played, and something I've mentioned quite a few times, Boro are in a bit of an interesting situation in that they were the very, very hot starters. I think 5 wins and a draw in the first 6. And I think for the next 9, I think there's something like 11th or 10th or something like that in the table. So there is some proving needed to be done for Boro as to whether this is going to be a promotion season and we're going to get more runs of, 3, 4 wins here, 5 wins in 6 like they did. Or is this a team that had a very, very good start that then is not an automatic team? And as I said, over the last 9 games, or whatever it is, forgive me, I don't have the exact number, they're not actually a playoff team. What we will say about the Boro job is it's always a good job, isn't it? Steve Gibson always has good squads there, always seems to give the managers time. And it feels like they've kind of tried everything at Boro in this latest run. They tried the local hero in Tony Mowbray. The current hot hand, I think, was Gary Monk. Tony Pulis was the massive, knowledgeable, experienced guy. So was Neil Warnock. Jonathan Woodgate was the young local guy like Southgate was back in the day. Carrick was the hot young thing, new coach. And Rob Edwards, I guess, would go into the bracket of proven in that he did have a promotion on his CV up from the Championship to the Premier League with Luton. What Middlesbrough haven't tried is taking a foreign coach from a foreign league where, and there's always one, isn't it, where they're the hot guy. And it's like, if someone does a fabulous job in England, they're kind of hard to get and they move very, very quickly, don't they? Whereas someone can do what Hellberg has done in Sweden and be developing a career at a really, really good level and having success. And then you can take that person. And I'm sure I'll probably forget examples here. David Wagner and Daniel Farke coming from Germany and getting promoted. And obviously, everyone will be looking at Regis Lebris. You'd argue that Ligue 1 is a better standard than Sweden. But still, the point stands that you can get a manager who's never done anything in England, never done anything in the EFL, but has a really good CV and is a really good football manager who is ready to go. And this seems to be the guy. I'm sure we'll elucidate more from a Swansea point of view, but they could be really up the creek without a paddle if they've acted on Alan Sheehan being sacked on the basis that they would be able to get Kim Hellberg. They're going to have to pivot pretty quickly. But again, Boro fans, I'm sure will point out in the comments, Boro are literally in the midst of a very quick pivot with the news that Rob Edwards has left. We spoke about Adi Vivash, and this is where it's interesting style-wise, because hopefully from a Boro point of view, Hellberg can pick up the best of Carrick and the best of Edwards. And we all know that the best of Carrick was that beautiful team a couple of years ago with Akpom, Ramsey, Archer, Giles that were fairly counter-attacky, very vertical, very attacking and scored loads and loads of goals. And when they attacked, and they just got diddled in the playoffs, didn't they? Mark Robbins and a strong defence and Harmer and Gyökeres did for Middlesbrough when it looked like Carrick might get the promotion in his first season. Obviously, things fizzled out for Carrick. And all that Rob Edwards appeared to have done is address what seemed fairly obvious, what the Middlesbrough fans were telling me in the comments of this channel week after week. Oh, Ben, we're flaky. We play pretty football. We score nice goals. We've got good players, but we haven't got that that winning mentality and that really good defensive side. And obviously, Boro, pretty much from the word go with Edwards, invested at the back, didn't they? They had experience with Britton and Target coming in, Ayling already there, and Jones and Fry, powerful, strong centre-backs. And often this season it has been, I don't think it's been 5 at the back or 3 at the back, 3 centre-backs and Winterburn, Nigel Winterburn, Arsenal back 4. God, if they're any good at anything like that back 4, they'll be all right. But I'm fumbling my point badly, and my point was that Edwards kind of solidified Boro at the back. Yeah, they've not been amazing going forward, but they've been very steady and very solid. We know they have potentially, although they might be breaking them up and moving Hackney forward, but Hayden and Aiden, as Dana from Boro Breakdown referred to them when I chatted to her, really brilliant Morris and Hackney central midfielders. And with the likes of McGree and Conway and Whittaker and a few of the new signings as well, Strelec in there up front. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of names out as well. They do have the capacity, I think, and the players to get it right in attack. And, you know, go figure. I've just said they've got a strong, experienced defence, really good central midfielders and attackers with potential. That's the entire team, isn't it? And if you can take whatever good Carrick left in terms of pattern of play and passing and attacking tendencies and Edwards deface. And remember, Vivash is staying, and we know, Middlesbrough fans know better than anyone, because Vivash was with Coventry in that, you know, very solid 0-0, 1-0 away win playoff semi-final. He knows how to set a team up in the Championship to be solid and defend well. So if they can marry all of these bits, and Hellberg can maybe do a little bit what Arne Slot did so well at Liverpool, where you go in and you tweak gradually. Obviously, he's tweaking at the moment, and it's a bit of a struggle. But you take my point that in the short term, you are not mending a broken football club or football team, indeed, like you would be if you were going in at Norwich, at Swansea, at Southampton. So, what do I think of the hire? Time's going to tell, because I know I've never seen a Kim Hellberg team play in my life. I'd never heard of him until this international break, so I can't speak in any detail about him. I just know about Middlesbrough, and I know about the Championship, that it's been one that, you know, Gary Monk really dropped the ball, didn't he? And Assombalonga and Fletcher and that wasted money, and then Pulis had Adama Traore and Pat Bamford, I think, and, you know, a really solid bunch of players, and couldn't get them over the line. I think like 17, 18 after Monk, and then Carrick in the playoff semi-final. This is, there is many a slip betwixt cup and lip, and this is one that many managers have found difficult. And I do think there is that ambient sense of anxiety that it's going to take something to get this team over the line. And someone can become a hero at Boro, but it's only been one Premier League season in probably, you tell me in the comments, Boro fans, 10, 15 years, I think, with Karanka taking them up. Crikey, when would that have been? Like 15, 16? I think that's either the season they went up or the Premier League season. I've been doing this a while, all the years meld into one. So there is a bit of an element of a gamble, but I like the idea of it, and it's certainly more interesting to me than just taking someone like I know Gary O'Neill had been a spat there, but let me use him as an example. Someone who's known in English football, and just going with that, because that will be safe and solid. Or, you know, recycling Will Stiller. I'm trying to think who else was linked with Boro. 4 jobs at once. I'm a bit confused with who's been linked with who, and a lot of them have been linked with similar jobs. So they've gone in and they're taking Hellberg, and there's the good basis. Look, let's be quite frank about it. Any manager that was going into Boro, if they get it right, 1.7, 1.8 points per game for the rest of the season, they will get promoted. Look at where Boro are in the table. So it's a golden opportunity for someone that wants to come in and quickly become a promotion winner, or indeed a Premier League manager. So I'll kind of sum that up by saying I think it's exciting. There is the element of a gamble. I don't think we can ignore that. But you're gambling on something that is not a 50-50 coin flip. Yeah, this is not red and black or whatever on the casino. This is, you'll use a crass gambling analogy. You're gambling on a game that's already going, and the team you're backing are already leading in the game. They're already 1-0 up. So if you're going to do this, now's maybe the time to do it. And it's not Boro's fault, as I've said a couple of times in the video, that they're in this position. Anyway, I think I've made my point. I'm very excited to see Kim Hellberg coming in as manager of Middlesbrough. Let me know what you think down there in the comments. Loads and loads of content up on the channel. So we'll link some clips and whatnot about the ever spinning at high velocity managerial merry-go-round. Make sure you watch them. Make sure you've hit thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed. The predictions are up now with Sam Parkin. And be here for the 11 rounds coming up in 45 days. A mad period in the Championship where we will see Kim Hellberg take his bow as Middlesbrough manager.